Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured Nigerians that the Naira will continue to appreciate against the dollar in the forex market. Speaking at a meeting with officials of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry (LCCI) at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, Shettima emphasized that the government's decision to end fuel subsidies and unify the exchange rate was aimed at preventing overnight billionaires and stabilizing the currency. He credited President Bola Tinubu's leadership for laying the foundation of development in Lagos State, stating that Tinubu's administration prioritized infrastructure and economic growth. Shettima also highlighted Tinubu's commitment to addressing challenges in the power sector, emphasizing its importance for national development and job creation. He concluded by affirming Tinubu's dedication to Nigeria's progress and development, emphasizing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu understands the ecosystem of the people. He assured them that in Tinubu's government, they have an ally and a friend. And with us this morning to do justice to this, we also have Mr. Akin Fatinke, and also we have Barrister Fred Zako. He actually joined us virtually. And now to you, Mr. Akin, while I was going through this particular topic, you were like, okay. My question now to you is this. The vice president was of the opinion that the present administration is doing everything they think is possible to make sure that the Naira keep on appreciating against the dollar. But now Nigerians are actually of the opinion that the policies the present administration is putting in place is not really more like a good, a round peg and a round hole. Some are saying they are taking so many, they are bringing in so many policies without looking at the situation of the Nigerian citizens, and as it is now. Do you also share that idea?
My idea is simple. If you have been diagnosed with cancer and you are rushed into the theater, it does not matter. Again, trying to save your life by all means, by extra shots, to shock you a little bit more, to be able to save you and save others. I want to say, take it or leave it, and I don't want to go into a personality thing in here. I think we have somebody at the helm of affairs who understands the finance and who understands the economy, has appointed a round peg in a round hole in the central bank governor, who, like you said, Fina, is rolling out and rolling out and rolling out to help save a horrible and terrible situation compared to what we had in the immediate past, and even past to that, looking at our monetary. However, Fina, you are also right that while that is going on, quite a number of other fundamentals in governance must take place. Otherwise, it will just be you going to play a draw away, and then when you come back home, and the enemy scores against you, might count double. We need to produce. We need the physical side to also begin to do things that is very, very, very necessary to do. Now, Shettima is a banker, and so he should understand, beyond he being a vice president, of course, they know some of the shenanigans that has bedeviled that space. The round tripping, turning things around from politicians to go buy the same dollar that is not backed by, by fundamentals. And in any case, yes, Shettima said they were laughing. Well, politicians can laugh and continue to laugh. I can understand that. But Cardoso came out and warned Nigerians. Please, I'd like Nigerians to go back to that interview he granted. He said, as far as he's concerned, and I believe him, as far as he's concerned, the Naira was being speculated, and some of the things that they needed to see is to try and bring back the word I keep on using, trust, outside and inside. Yes, the outside now have that level of trust by repaying some of our outstanding. But now, internally, I know we are all aching. Okay. But it's better I will ache than my children and my children's children to find any space whatsoever.
All right, thank you so very much.
QED.
Now, Barrister, I'm going to come to you on this. The Vice President made quite a lot of statements, and one of which that I find interesting is the fact that he said that the policies were meant for Nigerians. I'm trying to paraphrase now. The dollar seemed to have, or the Naira, beg your pardon, seemed to have been gaining a bit to the dollar. But the average Nigerian is yet to feel the impact. Prices of goods and, of course, in the market are still very high. Now, these go to bring to a major question by some quarters, that is these policies truly practical when it comes to the economical development in Nigeria? And what economic challenges do you think these policies by the CBN would pose to helping the economy grow? Barrister, you can unmute your mic right now so we can hear you better.
Yes, one of the major things that the CBN has done to show up the value of the Naira is to discourage storage of dollars. Is to discourage people buying the foreign currency, the dollar, the euro, the pounds, for storage. The foreign currencies are not supposed to be meant for storage or for reservation or storage of value. They are meant for exchange. And that is why it is made available to people who really need them for exchange. And of course, that is why it's called foreign exchange. It's not supposed to be, you buy it, you keep it the way you keep property, the way you keep house, the way you keep any other asset of value. But what Nigerians has done is that because of the lack of confidence in our currency, the Naira, many Nigerians, especially the elite, and those who are not even in business, but in government and who find it very easy to acquire and store the dollar, have resorted to using the dollar as a store of value, taking it away from circulation, thereby giving it a demand push. And of course, naturally in economics, when there is disequilibrium between the forces of demand and supply, the prices will immediately be affected. So when there is scarcity of dollar vis-a-vis the Naira, the value of the dollar and the price of dollar goes up. So one major measure which the CBN has done and which has started yielding fruits is discouraging the people from keeping and storing dollar. As a matter of fact, there is an announcement from time to time that those who still keep the dollar in their cupboard, under their pillow, in their wardrobes, that they will still regret, because if they are hoping that dollar will surge, that they will be hoping and waiting in vain. Such, they should bring out the dollar and then return it back to the system so that the central bank can trap and capture what is in circulation. That is one physical measure. Then on the other side, the government is said to have used our foreign reserve to show up the value of the Naira. And some Nigerians who don't even understand what it means and what use foreign reserve of Nigeria is, started criticizing the government as if the government has done wrong. In the first instance, why do we have that foreign reserve? Do you just accumulate it, keep it there and be looking at it and be nodding your head that the reserve is growing when your domestic economy is collapsing? It is used to show up the domestic economy and ensure that your balance of trade is not left in serious deficit. Because when it is left in very serious deficit, it affects the local currency. So I think a combination of both monetary and fiscal policies of the government is yielding the desired result that we see. But it is too early to clap for government the way the vice president is clapping. It's too early because we are expecting and hoping that this renewed value, this renewed surge in the value of the Naira should be sustained. If it is not sustained, then by the time you begin to reap the benefit, the value surges again. But if it is sustained, after the period of time, the benefit will begin to trickle down. Don't forget that the reason why the prices have not come down, the sale prices of agro-allied products and household consumables, the reason why they have not come down is that the net effect of the revamped value of the Naira has not cascaded to the level of productivity, because what we are still seeing today are goods and services produced when the value of the Naira was so low against the dollar. And after some months, you begin to see the effect of this renewed value, and prices will naturally begin to come down. You don't plant and harvest the same day. You plant, give some gestation period before harvesting. Even in industrial productivity, you don't produce and then expect that the price will come down immediately. Now that both machinery and raw materials are being imported at a fairly improved value of the Naira, it will naturally affect the prices of the production in the downward slide. So we expect that after some short time, or after some time, prices will begin to come down. And that is why we hope and expect that this value should be sustained over time, so that it is not like a pendulum that will swing up and swing down, and that makes it unpredictable. Economics is supposed to be a predictable venture, whereby when you put your policies together, you expect certain results. It is the result that we're expecting. And then when you expect certain result, that makes it easy for you to forecast and easy for you to plan in your productivity. And you'll be able to have the system under control.
All right, Barrister. Now to you, Mr. Akin. He talked about the economy being stable and all that, but we also know that just this 2024 alone, the inflation rate in Nigeria has actually been moving from one part to another. It was not really stable, to the point that what we have now is 33.02%. That's what the inflation rate is currently on. But we also heard from the presidency through Ngelale that by first quarter of 2025, that Naira must appreciate, above the dollar. Let me put it that way, because we are actually asked to have renewed hope in the government. Now, do you also think that with the way inflation rate actually is changing, even as Naira actually rebound, do you think that by that first quarter of 2025, that, the Naira will appreciate more against the dollar?
Fina, ceteris paribus. Economists talk about the fact that all things being equal.
Yeah.
Fred has also stated it. All things being equal. He made a fundamental statement. Before I talk about that fundamental statement, Fred also helped, in my opinion, to shore up the indolence. I'm sorry. Okay? The indolence, the intellectual indolence that is prevailing all around, that affects everybody. The ivory tower, the business schools, the media, analysts, to understand a fundamental. And that fundamental is that when you are in an import-dependent economy and you have virtually spilled all blood, you need what you call shock treatment. One fundamental thing that he said, and I want the media, it's very, very important that the media should interrogate that. It's all out there. Foreign reserves is being used to show up the Naira. What crass ignorance. And I'm talking to the elites. What crass ignorance. You expect a central bank governor seeing the way things are, and he should not defend the Naira? No. Like he said, so you want to continue to watch your foreign reserves stay there so that politicians will not then come back and be buying yachts and be buying here and there.
I also think,
hang on.
There is the part
hang on,
of
David.
explaining to Nigerians.
And that explanation has been made. But
Which is quite not visible.
No.
Which is quite not visible.
It is
That's
not
the reason
true.
why Nigerians are
I
speaking to
disagree that explanations are not being made. Explanations have been made, but people don't trust. That is simple.
How much is taken from our foreign
Hang
reserve?
on. So let's get back to the inflation that you are talking about.
Yeah.
The inflation is a consequence of what Barrister just said, that it's too early to continue to clap. So on the physical side, it will take a little bit of time. And so the mamalogi on the sideline, the one that is, burning come, who says is dollar has gone. Is that a fundamental thing that we should be looking at? Because we don't trust. We believe that the next available time, and that inflation that you are talking about, as a matter of fact, food inflation is going to about 40%. Yeah. Very, very unacceptable. I agree. But you see, there is a lag. Let's patiently wait for when this will begin to germinate in a way that hopefully we are not going to get another flood that will flood the whole place. We are not going to get, security of the place. Nigerians must have to understand. We are all in this. We are all suffering. There is no doubt about that. And then finally, again, David, I'm sorry. The point about, that I made about trust. When things are the way they are, and this is the fundamental problem that this particular government, and perhaps other government, but this particular problem has fallen into. That is not the time you are now going to be faffing around and doing things as if money is out of circulation. We need character and competence so that people can begin to trust you. That is not the time that you should. Example is the electricity jamboree, that things needs to be fixed in there. But we needed to have done that maybe about 5, 10, 15 years ago. We didn't do that. As only you want to bring a shock treatment. The people that are ruling us, are they paying the kind of thing that we are paying? That is the issue. We need leaders and not rulers who will come into the fray and say, look, I'm going to lead these things by example. I think we are in the right direction. It's too early to begin to clap. I think you and I must get into the fact that our import dependence, the things that we consume, the phones that we use, our makeups and all that, let us try our possible best to do Nigeria. Aba used to be a manufacturing hub. Aba is becoming, again, another manufacturing hub. That is the kind of thing we should be supporting. By the time we begin to support in there, I even understood that tires are now being made somewhere in Aba, little by little, and making sure that we get people who will lead. I have a leader that I see that leads by that kind of example. I must say, and we don't want me to mention his name. A Peter Obi would say, look, I want to be austere. I want to see austerity. Those are the kind of people we need, not people that will just get in there and bring their wife and bring their children and be flying in yachts. Those things, they erode the needed trust that people will even give you security information. People will be able to now then say, look, yes, I can stay for a little bit. Not that you will not be doing all the parties and then you expect people to be, catching their belts.
All right.
It is very vexatious, David.
Okay.
I know if I spoke through what we need to speak about here, but every government that has got in there is expensive. It is not fit for purpose.
All right.
And so everything keeps on going down the line. But
All
so
right.
far as this issue of dollar is concerned, we need to give a clap. I understand people who are putting dollar under their pillow, they are now rushing, and I think might be crashing to about 750. Those are some of the shock treatment that we need, the physical to also come into, going to take loans. This is now the time that we now take those loans, and everybody sees that this is what we are using those loans for.
Okay.
All right.
So-
now
It's discipline.
All right. Back to you, Barrister Fred. Now you have the opinion that some Nigerians shouldn't be calling for why would Nigerian government depends into our foreign reserve. But what I actually, or what the undertone actually was of the opinion that we've been suffering the issue of no data records as regards what our tax-paid money are being used for. For example, nobody actually knows how much this foreign reserve the Nigerian government actually dipped their hands into. Bitwala Edun telling us that Tinubu is not going, or it didn't even touch the reserves. But we all know that it's actually depreciated from 30-something trillion to, I think, 2 trillion naira actually is what was taken out of that. But to you, my question now is this. This is not the first time Nigerians are having challenges. Sometimes they go ahead, snakes swallowing money. We also had monkeys taking money, and all these things are happening among the political elites. What do you actually think should be done in case of such mismanagement of Nigerian funds?
Well, it's obvious that you cannot eat your cake and say have it. You cannot spend your money, the money you're supposed to develop your economy. If you spend it recklessly and you blow it away, you'll be lacking in the financial capacity for development. In economics, we say that savings is equal to investment. So the more you save, the more you are able to invest. If even at the micro level, if an individual is fond of spending every money that he makes, every income that comes his way, and is unable to save, that there's no way that individual can invest in productive ventures that will yield further revenue and further income. It's the same thing with nationals and even subnationals. And that is why if you have a government or government officials that do not understand the need for frugality, the need for austerity, the need for savings, and they will not be able to understand the need for investment, and the economy will continue to go down. So we want to hope and believe that it is not only the fact that the current government should be able to, having put round peg in round holes, I will borrow the words of my friend Akivatunke, that the people that are managing our finances, especially the central bank governor, is a round peg in a round hole. We also want to believe that others who are also involved in fiscal policy management meet up the characteristics of being round pegs in round holes.
All right.
And once that is done, the government needs to do one more thing, which is on the side of the narrative and public perception. The public still perceives this government as being very, very wasteful, as being very, very bogus and bloated, as not being austere enough as to encourage the private citizens to indulge in savings. If the government keeps telling people to tighten their belts while the officials of government losing their own, there will be a dislocation in perception, in understanding, and in cooperation. So in order to ensure that we maintain the trajectory of growth and development, there's need for government not to give such impression that they don't care. There's need for government to be very accountable for every kobo that we earn in our scarce resources, in oil, in gas, in custom duties, and in other domestic GDP sources that give us money, that bring money to the federation account. It is only by such accountability that the narrative can begin to make sense and will begin to gradually grow.
All right.
My brother referred to the tire that is made in Aba. Many other industries will begin to have a life of their own when the government tackles the issue of energy. Nigeria's energy is still a far cry from the expectations of the people and the expectations of the investing public.
All right,
that is the only
thank you very much.
That is hurting our productivity and our economy.
All right, Barrister Fred Ntako, lawyer and development economist. We appreciate you for your time and your thoughts on the program.
Many thanks.
All right, we also say a very big thank you to Akin Fatunke, who is a communications consultant, economist, and a public affairs commentator. We also appreciate you for your thoughts and your time.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, it's going to be business, entertainment, and then sports. Stay with us.